Yo, Insanity Pod, episode 7. We're here with Stella Ray, also known as BABETECH. She's a local DJ and young creative. For everyone that doesn't know you, how did you get into what you do in terms of like the music?
That's a pretty broad question, hey? Yeah, music's always been around my life. I think a lot of people can say that. But just before the second lockdown, moved in with some people that I didn't know that well, who were super talented producers and DJs, and Uber driver, shout out Uber driver, Sammy Forbes. Yeah, I moved in with those two, and they kind of opened my eyes to what DJing can look like, and being able to see their personality and their mixes was really eye-opening for me.
Had you ever mixed before that at all?
Yeah, I have mixed a little bit. I loved mixing like trap music, like Nicki Minaj. Went crazy on that siren. Yeah, it was good for its time. Didn't age well.
Nah, like yes and no.
Yeah. When was this? Like what year? Second lockdown.
I would have been 17, just kind of sussing out how a controller works and stuff like that.
And before that, were you kind of like in the club scene and around those kind of people? Or was it the music kind of brought you into that?
I think the music brought me into that. I went to Europe just before the first lockdown. And yeah, I wish I was kind of tuned into what I'm tuned into now to be able to go to the root of where a lot of the music that I listen to and that I play, where all that comes from.
What was your first gig like and where was that?
My first gig was the first time I ever played as BABETECH was at Twisted Frequency last year. No, last year, the year before. And I had a real chill set. Was super like comfortable with the gear because I do stuff on radio. But first set outside of just doing it in the little studio with not being able to.
Or like at parties or anything too, or.
Yeah. At parties a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But for my first set, I was kind of nervous, and I was like, "Yo, just like smoke a fat doobie." That would like make everything fine. And it was kind of like, you know, when you smoke and you walk down the street and it feels like everyone's looking at you. It's like everyone's supposed to be looking at you when you're DJing. Yeah. So like, I was freaking the fuck out, and I played this one track by DJ Rashad, Smoke That Weed, and these people were like handing me doobies, and I was already like high as, and I was like, oh fuck, like I can't not take it because like I'm playing this track right now. But yeah, I don't smoke before sets anymore. Because of that.
It either goes one way or the other, and like I feel like when you're like trying to be creative with like any sort of drug, and it's like if you're either goes like real good or you're just like, oh fuck. Like,
yeah.
It's real hit or miss.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Like, environment for like Twisted Frequency, you know, like everyone's kind of
Twisted.
Or, like chilled out. Does it like, relax you a little bit? Just knowing
Yeah.
everyone else is kind of.
It felt like a safe space to be able to play what I like, and felt super supported doing it. Yo.
How would you describe your sound now for people that like haven't heard your stuff before? There's a lot of influences in there.
Yeah. I think sexy, spooky, kind of scary. Untamed, maybe. Yeah, it's a good word. Yeah, and just like heaps of bass.
Yeah, I feel that because it's like quite sporadic how it goes from like different genres and that. How do you find like jumping from different genres and then also like trying to do what you want to do and trying to please the crowd at the same time? Is that like in your mind when you're DJing?
I think I used to think about it heaps.
Yeah.
And then I realized that people are gonna book me for like me, and I'm gonna play what I feel like.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's not the vibe. Like I've definitely cleared some dance floors.
I think every DJ. I think every DJ has.
Yeah.
And I think every like performer has, in a sense, like, because everyone has their own crowd. Like, you know, like it's not everyone likes everything. Not everyone likes rock. Not everyone likes rap. Not everyone likes house, or like, you know.
Hard out. I think especially with like, since I've been starting to play a lot more dubstep as well, I think that can be a little bit of a fright to people, and not like Skrillex dubstep. That's not dubstep.
Why would you feel like it's a bit of a fright?
That's like, apparently you call it brostep. Yo.
Nostalgia. But like usually with dubstep, they say the first person people think of because it's just so cute.
Yeah. Yeah, and kind of more like, I guess, the American take on it. Like a lot of it actually came from the UK.
I don't know, yeah, when I think of dubstep, I think of Bass Hunter.
What do you think, like, was there so much representation of, like, I know Māori women as, like, with DJing, like, Lady Shutter, half queen, like, going off, like, what do you think people like yourself are?
Like, what draws you to it?
What draws me to it? I mean, there's like a buzz that you get from being able to make people move and make people kind of not be in reality for a little while. I really look up to those DJs. I think they're freaking so awesome. Being able to incorporate their culture and something that they love and look like so hot and sexy doing it is fucking dope. It would be like when Lady Shaka did the Poise. Oh wait, so OP, so OP.
Was that the Boiler Room one?
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, and this second one's up blowing up at the moment.
Yeah.
There's like so many like classic like dub like Māori tracks. They're just now getting like played and put on like another platform. The crazy thing, they've been doing it for like ages. It's like directly use it. Like especially like Seminole dub and that.
Yeah.
And, like all that, like we've been doing it for like ages. It's like now just like starting to get shown on like a bigger stage.
I think it's also like this could be like kind of problematic, but I think also people can use it quite like token as well. Like it's quite mean to have like a Māori wahine on your lineup and it looks fucking mean for you. But it can be performative, and if you're not like actually treating them well or, you know.
About it.
Yeah. I feel like it's kind of gone like too far in the sense of like everyone wants everyone to be included, but sometimes people go too far because they just get people just so they can get their look from other people.
Yeah, it kind of feels like a little bit of a tick box, even just like being a chick. Like I've been told I've been booked for a show because they were looking for a female DJ, and like that feels like shit. Like, why can't you just book me because you like what I play? And I've also been asked to play like certain types of music, and it's like, why can't you just book me because
I thought you just expect them to play what they are because you're booking.
yeah.
And it's funny to hear that our promoters would book people to say like it's a wedding or something. Where how do you play this? But like,
Yeah, I mean, DJs are supposed to read the room, but also like they're gonna play what they're gonna play and what they like and what they have on the USB.
Do you find it hard then being like a female DJ trying to grow in a smaller country?
Personally, nah, because I feel like I can speak up for myself. But I do feel sorry for people who aren't like that comfortable in spaces that are mainly filled with dudes. Yeah, I mean, we're seeing like a lot more collectives come out that are that have a focus of putting on women and people from LGBTQ plus community, which is fucking dope. Yeah, I think it's cool how diverse the scene is getting and what kind of ideas and events different collectives are putting on. It's becoming so there's something for everyone, which feels like, you know,
What's some of the collectives you really like at the moment that are doing cool things in Wellington or like New Zealand and Ontario?
I love Racket Club. Racket Club is they've been putting some real cool people on for fucking ages. And I've done some cool mahi with them. And Sessions is always like putting on DJs who may have not played out yet. I did my first show with them, and it was such a cool experience being able to feel comfortable with the people who are running it, but also like just feel so supported and valued. Full disclosure is really cool. They've only put on one gig, but it was so dope.
What was it?
Dubstep gig. DNG is another cool collective. They've been doing some gigs down at the Cuba Dive Barbers, and it's like a bar, upstairs, and like that's been really cool. I've been really enjoying the resurgence of dubstep.
What do you think you like your music comes from?
I think a lot of it has. I've always been like, as I said before, always been around music. My dad and my uncle listened to a lot of reggae growing up and a bit of dub, and but it's also quite diverse. Like you skip the song and then there'd be like System of a Down, and it was like, oh, it. But I think what BABETECH plays, a lot of that kind of stuff just came from mates showing me, and like watching videos on YouTube of like, what the heck, dubstep isn't just Skrillex, and the whole culture around that as well was like quite attractive to me. The way that you had to wait for like, you know, people to drop music and then you'd buy it, but you'd have no idea. You buy a vinyl, you buy a record, and you had no idea what the songs were.
You're like, if you're gonna like every song, or like if you're gonna like, I feel like that was like the next step in the most.
An album from like start to finish.
Like
that whole
yeah.
And the albums are like 20 tracks long. Like Tribby's new one was like 20, I think. They're just stacking them up for streams and stuff.
Yeah.
At least in like hip hop, I think.
And when they've like considered the flow of like where each song is placed within the album, I like that.
Did you like Yachty's album? Did you listen to that?
Nah, I did not. Yeah, but
It's like psycho.
It's quite psychedelic, rocky, yeah.
no way.
Yeah.
It's probably like.
Oh, that's crazy.
There's only like one song for the really kind of bits and parts there. It's all like psychedelic as fuck. I think Pink Floyd might actually produce one of the tracks.
Yeah, he got Mac DeMarco, like do some stuff on it, and he got a couple of like artists like that to do with that. So he definitely does research like on that genre when he tried to do it.
Yeah.
Could you see yourself producing music in the future? And if so, what would that sound like?
I get like asked this quite often. I posted this meme on my story, and it was like something like dudes that use Ableton, but like, are you able to get bitches? And so many people got so cut. And one of my yes. Yeah.
I can. I swear I pull.
And one of my homies was like, you know, we're just doing the mahi that you can't be asked to do. That was really sad.
People actually take offense to it. Like, you were joking, obviously, or were you? Was it pinned at someone?
I wasn't joking, but I wasn't throwing shade at anyone particular. Like,
Yeah.
just like fucking funny. But I think I'm not really crazy interested in the computer stuff. Like, I hate the computer stuff to do with DJing. And I've had a few plays on some gear, like a MPC and stuff, but I think like every time I had a go, it was kind of like, I want you to.
Don't worry, we'll be in new set next time. Gonna pay some walls. It's gonna be fucking insane.
You're gonna like have the video and it's gonna like cut to there not being a poster there. What was the question?
You were talking about
Producing. Yeah. And had a little bit of play, but like every time I've had a play, it's kind of like I want that person to leave the room so I can just like be a little bit vulnerable. I think you have to be quite vulnerable to produce music. And especially to release it. And I'm not ready to do that in front of my homies yet. But if I was to ever produce music, I think I would make crazy dubstep, crazy sexy dubstep.
you also do quite a bit of art. Weren't you in the gallery of this gallery?
Yeah,
Did you ever see yourself bringing those two worlds together, the music and the art, into my sort like that?
totally. I'm not really sure what that looks like at the moment. Other than like, putting a photo of my artwork on as like a mixer's cover or whatever. But like definitely interested to see how that could work with each other.
It's like this festivals like twisted 1-to-1 with like these art installations like going along with the music.
Yeah.
It's very much like merged together.
Hard.
So it could be like down your alley.
Hard out. I mean, when I'm at a festival, I do want to be dancing, not painting, but hard out.
But you could do it like beforehand in a sense, but not paint there.
Yeah,
Just set design in a sense, yeah.
true that. I think like delving into VJing would be pretty cool. And like, yeah, being able to see how my art could look.
So like you can do like stuff to react to the sounds that like what you produce. So like if you could like pretty much like it's like in a sense like it's like a coding thing, and you can sort it out to like go with like your set. So you could actually make some crazy stuff with it, since with how sporadic everything is. So it could be really cool.
Have you got any other festivals you wanted to do in New Zealand or like overseas?
Overseas would be dope. Yeah, Europe would be dope. I think I don't really know of many festivals here in New Zealand that super cater to my style. I'm super happy DJing at Twisted though, like so much fun, and everyone feels so supportive, and it's like a good space to like try new things.
Who don't know what Twisted is, how would you explain that to like anyone? Because it's kind of like a festival, but it's BYO, but it's also very like
Yeah, it's a music festival that touches like so many genres that I've never heard of in my life.
like what's some of the music you heard there that you didn't expect to hear?
I never heard of glitch music before,
Oh, really?
or
Like glitchcore.
yeah, no, I'd never heard of that. Bush prog.
Yeah.
No, and I think it used to be pretty big on psytrance. And I thought I wasn't really into psytrance, but I was getting lost in the trance so bad. Like I'd go up to a stage and then be there for like 3 hours and none of my homies are around and like just so lost in it. But so yeah, I think they really challenge like having, like, they have styles instead of genres, and so it's quite confusing seeing where the little ticks where you thought it would be the genre and it being like, you know, gangster babe shit or some shit.
Yeah, and it's like 5 days. Do you find it hard to like last those 5 days? It'll be like a big.
All about the dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, 5 days a year, and a few days. Yeah, you have to take, right off afterwards. But like,
keep energy levels up for that 5 days.
Heaps of coffees.
Yeah, I don't actually drink coffee, but just like eating well, and sustaining yourself, and sleeping. Sleeping is good. The music at Twisted is for like 24 hours for 5 days. My set this year was at 8 a.m. on January the 1st. There were definitely some late night demons still.
Looking around.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but the energy there is like so so positive, and it feels hard not to be happy there.
What's been your favourite moment from your whole years of career so far?
My music career? I think going to Auckland last year was really dope. Getting to play 2 shows up there.
Same night?
Nah, different nights. That was a highlight, and probably opening for one of my favorite artists, Lofa. That was really dope. He was so cool, and it was a massive fangirl moment, but I was trying really hard not to talk about the music and just talk about, life, and like I don't yeah. And that was, like, thinking back, it's a dream come true for me now, but before then, and like while it was happening, I don't think I kind of recognized how awesome it was and gave myself enough credit for that. That was an awesome gig, and it was like the first gig my mum came to. Yeah, and she loved it. I had to ask her to leave though. She was having a bit too much fun, eh? But
How'd you ask her to leave mid-set?
oh, not mid-set. It was like 12. It was like 12:30, and lady was still here.
Vibing.
Yeah, just straight vibing, and I just whispered to her. I was like, "You need to leave now." And then she was like, "Oh, my daughter's asking me to leave. My daughter's asking me to leave. Like, I've known her my whole life, and she just doesn't want to hang out with me." And like, it was so. Yeah, that's the last gig she's coming to. Yeah, she was lost in the smokers area. Like, but I love my mom. Hey.
What's some advice you'd give to yourself that you've learned now that before you started? When you think doing was it?
Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to tell you it, but like subconsciously, I think like giving myself a bit more credit, and I was gonna say have fun, but I've been having fun. I think maybe getting to know the collectives and the promoters who are putting me on. I think now that we can connect on social media, it feels like a lot easier to just not really have to talk in real life. And like I've pulled up to a few gigs and like not even talked to the promoters before I've hopped on. And I don't know, I feel like I'm all good with that, but also it'd be cool to create a little bit more of manaakitanga, of like getting to know each other. And
It's not like a transactional just like thing. Yeah. It's actually like a community.
So you might as well build a
Hard.
relationship.
hard out.
Yeah.
And I think it would be cool, like, if promoters maybe made a little bit more of an effort to get the other artists to know each other who are playing the gigs. Like I've played a few gigs and they've taken all the artists out to dinner beforehand, or like just like hung out before, and it was just like so cool to know who you were playing with.
You could do that for the next song.
Yeah, we should so do that.
Be aware of the song.
Yeah.
They create such a good vibe as well. It's like everyone backing.
Yeah, and you all like come to the gig knowing each other and being able to see what each other can do.
We're playing this gig.
Yeah.
Smash it. We're gonna kill it.
Yeah.
And like everyone wants to, I think a lot of people in the music scene want to create community but just aren't really sure how to do it. And I think, yeah, it's a really good place to start.
What are some other ways that like people have like brought people together before shows, just like dinner now, or is it just like?
Yeah, and just hangs or coming over for a mix. Like, yeah, that's kind of all I can think about at the moment. But
When you're DJing, do you find it hard to be present? Because like you're always thinking of like the next song to like go next, or like trying to like turn down, turn up things. Like, do you find it hard to like be in that moment and like enjoy it too?
I feel like I'm present, but also not present in the way that when I play a set, it feels like it goes so fast. And I find myself always thinking and wishing that I was on the other side of the speakers dancing with my homies, but also to my music. So you gotta pick. I have to pick one. I think there has been times where I haven't been present, yeah, but I love playing my tracks for people, and I love watching people enjoy my music or enjoy other artists' music that I put on.
You quite structured with your sets going into it, or are you just like, here's a USB
for my tracks. I'm just gonna go through them.
Yeah, it's a bit of that. It's actually all of that. Yeah, I struggle to prep a little bit because you never know what it's going to be like. But prepping is also very important. And like having an idea of what you're going to mix is good. I've definitely pulled up to a few gigs and definitely could have done a lot better if I thought about it. But yeah, I think finding a balance of that for me is good.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably more fun on the spot, so like that you're like creating it there instead of just having your set that you could just press and play sort of situation.
Yeah, and if you pull up to a gig and like, you know, you might be playing 2 till 3 and like you got 2 of your homies there and that's it. Like, I don't know, I'm gonna play some crack up shit for my homies. Like, but if it's like, you know, and then also if it's like a crowd of like chavs, like I'm gonna play what I want to hear, but with their slight influence.
What's some things people listening could do, or like the general public, or even promoters could do to help your experience, or like artists like yourself, kind of thrive more in the scene?
Good question. I think giving like DJs a little bit of a chance to reel you in. Like you might not like the first few tracks, but you know, you could bop to the third. I think being like thinking about music quite openly, and like even if you're not enjoying it, I love to see people enjoying their types of music that they love, and like even if it's not my cup of tea. Yeah, I would love to think more about that question. I definitely will reflect on that later.
We're a new great patient.
Yeah, stuff.
Yeah, I did. You got me, bro. You got me. Is this going well?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
it's
good. I feel like I'm so sweaty, eh?
It's really refreshing to talk to someone.
You don't look sweaty,
doing,
so
like,
that's
not
good.
I don't look sweaty?
No.
Not like a hip hop artist, because we've done like.
Yo,
everyone's
yeah,
got,
no,
like,
I've
other than
noticed.
Damon, everyone's just been. I just want to not be put in a box with
Yeah.
anything I do. So. Yeah.
I feel
and
the
I kind
same.
of followed the events and like the music videos I used to do too. But now that I'm doing multi-genre stuff,
Yo.
it kind of ties over. And also like with some other shows coming up, we're doing like bands as well.
Yo,
Trying to
I think that's so cool. And I think multi-genre events really like, I love exposing people to new types of music. And I think like we're not all supposed to like the same thing, but we're not all gonna like the same thing forever, you know. And there's always space to find a new genre that you like.
sometimes you don't end up liking a new thing unless you're kind of thrown into that situation. You go to an unexpected gig or something
to be exposed.
or like someone, one of your mates puts you on to like some artist or something.
Yeah, hard out.
And I feel like you can like you can still gain like a feeling in a sense, like even if you don't like something, you can see like why people like it, and then you can gain aspects of that, like like even if like probably being a DJ too, you could like maybe like morph that sound into something else.
Yeah, hard out. And no, yeah, I think a few DJs feel like they need to be DJing the same thing all the time, and just have like, when they do a set, maybe it just be one genre. And I think the cool thing about DJing is that you get to play whatever you like, and you can mix whatever you like, and you can play, like, if you want to play Stevie Wonder at the club at 12:30 and you're the DJ, you can.
What's one big goal you have in mind at any point in your career? What's like?
I think something like connected to my career. I don't want to use that word, but something connected to it is definitely just like spend some time in the UK and see where dubstep and like watch grime artists just like spit bars and bars. Yeah, definitely spend some time in the UK. I'd love to play some shows there, but I'd also just love to be around that energy.
Now, what's coming up for BABETECH?
I think the only thing I want to mention is Rage Cage Volume 3, 4th of March, be there, be square. Yeah, it's going to be so hot and awesome.
So, thanks for coming on.
Yo, my pleasure.
And also, on behalf of Cheeky, we've got a box for you right there.
No fucking way. Oh my god. I love Cheeky.